More
It's
comfortable.
it's it's
So, do
awesome.
you know the band?
What's that?
Do you know the band? Is it
Do
Pylar?
I still didn't catch that.
No, no. Did you watch our YouTube videos or?
Yes, yes,
Ah,
yes.
okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I watched it. They are very wow. Like, I mean, not only your sound is so trippy. It's it's when I heard the new album, I'm like, what am I listening to right now?
I'm really glad you say that because that's our intention. Being trippy and trying to be as much as original as we can.
And I have to say, so last night when I was listening to it again, last night I had a THC edible and I'm like, whoa. It
Whole experience.
yes, it was quite an experience.
Well, thank you. You are making me really happy.
It is amazing. Like I have not heard a band like you ever. It is seriously mind blowing. And you're on the other side of the world in Spain, which is wow. It's so cool.
Yes, we are humble, but at the same time, we want to reach uh, first division goals or main goals like the bands we love.
Yeah.
We are
So
from Spain. It's difficult to play outside the country and all of that. Less support from some waves and just because your your region, but we are used to that, and we hope just music talks speak with us for us.
it definitely speaks. So
Thank you very much.
so you are the vocalist, correct? Or what? 'Cause
uh, no, no, I'm the guitar player.
you're the guitar player. Okay, because I wasn't sure exactly who I was interviewing today.
It's funny because sometimes we change our lineup on live shows and nobody didn't know who is under the costume. So it's a good play for us. It's really fun because that's the idea. Not using the ego or the person. Uh, we sometimes make even uh, have some ideas about if we can't keep playing, maybe other keep with the band, maybe in other country or whatever. That will be great for us.
Yeah, well, the obscurity like really adds to it because at first, before I even saw any of the videos, it was like when I was just listening to it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wonder what they look like. And then I saw like your performance videos, and it looks very ritualistic almost. So what were some of your inspirations to create like that type of atmosphere, especially in a live music setting?
It's true that we see our uh, a live show like that because from the very beginning we wanted that Pilar wasn't regular band that is like talking about maybe Lovecraft or forest or whatever that is dark, but the look of their of us playing or even the images of our artwork in the albums, we wanted to be all together to be fit um, to recreate that kind of ritual music, not just talking about that it sounds really with like that. So from the very beginning, we yes, bands like Sam, it's obvious, but and the influence and all the black metal. Corpse painting is all of but trying to evolve that and creating something that is unique because we are not from the north of Europe or in the US. We are from the south of Spain, and we wanted to use a more pagan um, way of creating our image using the folklore of our region. The light that is opposite to the dark, and a lot of bands don't use the don't use it. So it's that the idea, trying to create something that is just us. Don't try to mimic.
Okay. Yeah, and so you're releasing the third album of this trilogy. So and I have no idea if I'm pronouncing any of these names correctly, so you'll have to help me out. But
Don't worry.
the new album, Limit,
We say límite.
Limita,
Límite. Yes,
Limita.
that's it. Very good.
So that one, I mean, we'll talk about this album first, since it's about to come out anyway. Um, it it starts off, I mean, it's just so tribal and trippy, and then you have like the second song on it because the album is only 3 tracks, but they're really long songs, except for
Mhm.
the middle one, which is only a minute and a half. It's like kind of a, I don't know, preparing you for the craziness that you hear in the final track, especially towards the end. That one gets trippy. So what my question is, like, what was going through your mind as you as these songs started unfolding during the creation process?
Um, Last album follows like a mirror structure, two long tracks and with a short one in the middle. And it's really important for us times of the songs and this in inner structure of every track in the trilogy. We try to have that kind of things under very important sorry like try to write songs with a structure and a concept in mind that affects music. And Pilar in this album wanted to finish the trilogy in taking to its limits some ideas that we used before. Maybe atmosphere and textures are even more important than previous albums. And we try to take the listener to its limit, try to exhaust him or her. Because it's for us, Pilar is an extreme metal band, or we wanted to be an extreme experience of listening. And the idea is there is a lot of interesting bands for us that are trying really good ideas, and maybe slow bands for us are not are losing their ways. Something it's what we think, and they are just trying to be heavy using the guitar tone and the riffs, but we want to have some elements from fast genres like death metal or black metal, and bringing them to the slow music and create like a new monster full of layers and layers and strange structures that take the listener to some places that he or she don't usually go.
Yeah, I've never experienced anything quite like that listening to an album before. It's
Thank you, because that's our attention.
yeah, especially like when it got to the third song, which is Ruptura Afura. Am I saying that correctly?
The last one
Yes.
says ruptura afuera, but
Okay.
don't worry about it.
Ruptura Afuera. Like that,
Great, great.
I mean, it goes, it just starts like going into a vortex of like death and despair. It's so crazy. So when you were creating that song in particular, like what were some of the elements that you were really inspired by to create such a crazy, just a crazy sounding song?
It's a lot of bands to name here, and you said vortex, and that's a good word to describe this song that was on our mind. And it's because the sample idea is just taking everything to the limit. If there is a riff, we try to figure out how can we do it less regular or less normal. If we do it this way, if the riff is regular, try to try a drum pattern that is more strange, or we can use some layers. We use a lot of synthesizers in the album to create strange sounds, or for a metal album at least. And this we we enjoyed a lot writing this track, because it was like a monster. Maybe it's one of the most difficult ones that we have recorded. And the idea was starting with a structure that wasn't all, it was variating all the time. The final part, the last half of the song, it was like the vortex you talk about, because it was all the time the same riff, but with variation of tempo, and going up and down, and trying to be there is one thing that you can be, and you put your attention on it, but all the time all the other things and layers are changing, mutating all the time, so you can't rest. It's really exhausting to me listening to it, because we at least reach our goal in that sense. It was a lot of bands that make us to the idea of I see it like two bands playing together. Sometimes it is an interesting experiment, listening to music on internet on the computer. I by mistake played two albums at the same time. So maybe a death metal band and a heavy metal or regular thrash metal, and always the both metal bands like them more than apart, because um, metal is uh, not all the bands, but there is regular rules that everybody is following from a lot of time, and we love classic metal, and we are die-hard fans, all of that. But we are here to create metal on 2023, and we want to recreate what we felt when we first listened to the first Black Sabbath album, or Celtic Frost, or Bathory, or Mayhem, or that kind of feeling that was like, in what time am I listening right now? And we want to recreate that. It's a really hard goal, we know, but we try.
Okay. So when you were like when the album was completed and you first listened back to it, what kind of visual journey did your mind take when you were listening to all the songs?
And sorry, what's the question?
So, so when you finished recording the album,
Hmm.
like, did you like see, like, go on a visual journey or see anything in your mind when you were listening to it back for the first time?
Yes, of course, because Pilar is a band that is really vast on other extra musical influences, literature, a lot of books and novels that are experimental for us and we enjoy it, and sometimes philosophical concepts and ideas that are really strange, and those extra musical influences sometimes give us the clue to try something new, because it's really strange to try to recreate maybe a Lovecraft paragraph, not in the way we are trying to sound like the Call of Cthulhu, that base of Cliff Barton that is really crazy, like tentacles. No, we are trying to, if Lovecraft is describing the craziness of the character and the feelings, we try to recreate those feelings, no mm, just playing a riff, a normal or dark riff. We are not interested in that. So we try to we speak a lot about images, some pictures and paintings that we love, of some painters, and everything is under the is ready to affect the band. We try to think about Pilar like a band that is open to the whole of to the other arts and activities. So that's maybe because we can, or we could, we could try those strange ideas to write songs.
Okay. So you mentioned Lovecraft a lot, and when I was researching, like, I saw Lovecraft mentioned in almost every single piece that I read. So my question is, which H.P. Lovecraft work really do you feel like influenced a lot of your music?
Uh, Lovecraft and a lot of writers, but Lovecraft in particular is a really uh, common place for metal bands or dark music. But if you listen to those albums, at least is what happened to me. It's like an album that sounds dark, but it could be about Lovecraft, or it couldn't. Could be about something else and other things that is dark. So I think I thought about that. Many times. And what I love about Lovecraft the most is the atmosphere. That first paragraph, and you are inside the story from the very beginning, and it's not happening anything. Characters are with no action, and there is no, they are not attractive characters in the way of regular characters, but the atmosphere is all the time and creating tension paragraph after paragraph. So we wanted to recreate that maybe uh, internal or inner structure of the text. The characters would be the riffs, and we wanted that they have some. It's a main. They are important, but the atmosphere are affecting them more than when they thought, and they are changing them, and they are at the end more important than the character. So you can, in Pilar there are more abstract songs, but when you listen to riffs, they are not just about the riff, it's about the riff and its influence with the textures and layers that are affecting the riff, and trying to force that riff, if it's going to repeat, what are you going to do? Are you going to keep going, trying to fight with that? Are you gonna win or lose? So the song will make you to experience that, and that is what we think, what we feel about Lovecraft literature.
Okay, that's awesome. Like, okay, and so with the trilogy of these albums, so I guess we're gonna go backwards, but how do you feel like Limita really finalizes the trilogy of the albums?
Yes, we conceive the trilogy like an open field to work and experiment. We have in mind that they will be three albums and some concepts, but we will work on them one by one. And the second one wouldn't be that way if we finish first the first one, and limited is affected by the previous the two albums, but that we didn't know that move that way, because we record in the first track. When everything is recorded is ready on the studio, we say we are going to record the song, and it's the first track always, because we it's difficult for us to repeat. It's more about the intention than the perfection of the song, and we improvise a lot. The structures are open, and if we feel that the track is okay, the basic track, the drums and the riffs are okay, it's difficult for us to trying to say we are going to try another track, another we are going to play it again, because the feeling and the atmosphere changes. It's like we have just one bullet, and that way of working is interesting, because we have played in other bands that don't work like that. And if you see like that, like I said, like just one track, um, the way you play it is more like more dangerous.
Okay.
We usually are happy with that that way of working, and after that we started adding some layers and other instruments and other layers of the instruments, and we try to take the tracks to a place where they weren't before. Maybe we record four or five instruments, and finally at the end of the song they are 12 layers. And we usually those extra layers are also improvised in the studio. So and never repeated again. So if our violin player is going to play a solo, that's the solo. Come on, we have no time to repeat. They are usually recorded in 2 days, and it's really great for me to be working that way, because the song is always live, and when we play it live is other song. We repeat some things, but the song is changing all the time. The length of the song, maybe the structure, the solo improvisations inside, and that way the band and its sound is live all the time.
Wow. Okay, you can really hear it. Like
Thank you, thank you.
that's so cool because yeah, not too many bands that I've interviewed anyway improvise in the studio. Like you hear about it, but that's really cool. Like it sets a vibe, that's for sure. So how with the second album of the trilogy, Abysmos? Um,
This one's
okay.
Abysmos. Yeah, yeah,
um, what
Abysmos.
Abysmos? What was the overall energy like when you all were creating that and in the studio together, like like improvising and stuff? So what was that like being in the studio?
That album was really nice to work on it and record, because the title there is. really important, that are really important for us and determine all the album. First track is was like La Caída, it's like the fall, and we wanted to start playing it and losing the experience of time. We are improvising some about on the same idea again and again, and we know we had to reach some part of the song, but we don't know if we are going to be 3 minutes or 12. So the idea is that we are playing, creating that atmosphere all together and losing our minds into their song. It's all the time like I imagine like maybe those young kids on Mayhem when we record some crazy albums, the Mysteries Don Satanas and all of that. There is a feeling of perilous or dangerous on that thing that they are not just playing a song and we can play it again. It's like if we play it, you feel it to that way that you as a listener experience something else. And if we are trying to describe falling into an abysm, we want to the song have the control, not us. Uh, Maybe the drummer is keeping and I want to be out, but I can't. We realize that we don't have the control to the to the last thing. So it's we if we can reach that, we know that the work is good.
Okay. And also with the very first album of the trilogy, Horror Cosmico.
Horror cósmico. Yes, that's good.
Um, so what was it like to initially create, that? How do you feel like it really sets the tone for the entire trilogy as it's the first one?
There were two or three main things that we wanted to try on this trilogy, trying to, like as we said on all the interviews, uh, trying to take metal to a place that it's not a regular place to be for metal, for a metal band. And we wanted to create, to play a lot with improvisations that metal is some experimental bands improvise, but maybe are closer to jazz because they can play very well and mix jazz and metal and do it really well. But we are not interested in that. We want to improvise using riffs. I'm playing this riff and I'm going to repeat it, but I don't know how many times I'm going to repeat it. That's a way of improvising using metal and not jazz elements. If you mix that with the concept of two bands playing together, the bass band, the basis of the band, and the extra layers, the atmosphere, and the fight that is created when you try to listen to both of them at the same time, mixing that with the improvisation and the ideas that we take from other bands is the basis of the Pylar sound. So in the whole trilogy, we try to play a lot of different things with those two or three main concepts of mine.
Okay. So the album artwork, um,
Sorry, just a second. I have another, I don't know if Liz tell you, another Zoom interview,
oh,
but I didn't know if they, it's
yeah, I didn't
on
know,
this
but
thing.
okay.
You can edit that, edit this part later if you want, but I wanted to, I'm really comfortable. I would like to speak with you more, but
Yeah,
there is
yeah.
other,
Yeah,
other person waiting.
we can
If you
continue
got
on.
two or one or two final questions, we
Yeah,
can finish it.
the album artwork, which was done by Gonzalo Santana.
Sorry.
Your album artwork.
Oh, sí, yes. Gonzalo Santana, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So how do you feel like he really captured, especially with the last album of the trilogy, like really captured that because I mean it's just so captivating with like the the skeletal beings with it looks like souls like coming up through its body and then there's that pyramid that has like beams coming out of it. So how do you feel like that captured what Limita is all about?
Yes, the artwork is really important for us, and it's interesting to see that there is also improvisation in the making of that artwork. We talk with Gonzalo about a lot of concepts and ideas and images and paintings or paragraphs. There is a lot of on the table, and he started working with that, trying to create but something that is strange and original. But at the end, when he starts to create, improvisation is also important. So we finally didn't don't know which is going to be the artwork at the end, because he write to us and said, "This is it," and that was the. There is no way there. I'm going to repeat other things, and we prefer that way of working because it supports the music very well for us.
Okay. Yeah, well, I guess those are all my questions for today. We can catch up another time.
Yes, yes. If you want to complete the interview, we can have a meeting other day. There is no problem with me. But please send me a PR
Yeah, I understand.
and I watched two two Zoom interviews, but at 8 o'clock and at 8:30. So it was like, well, I don't know if they know they are going to be short. But if you want, you can write me and we can keep talking.
Okay, yeah, that would be awesome. All right.
Don't doubt about that. If you want to that, it would be a pleasure for me.
Okay, yeah, that would be awesome. So let's definitely do that. Do you want me to just message Liz or you or what?
Now, if you are going to edit in this or some parts that I'm not expressing very well because of my English level, you can do it freely. I I trust in you. So if you want to complete with maybe more question other day, we can do it without no problem.
Yeah, let's do it.
And we can add it. Yes, yes, we can
Okay.
add it to this.
All right, sounds
So
good.
it was a pleasure
Yes,
for
very
me.
much so.
Short meeting, but we can keep in contact.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Well, you
So
have a wonderful next interview.
thank you very much. I hope would you be the last one so we can have more time for speaking. But well, I have to
Oh
know
well, it happens.
an unknown person that maybe is not I'm not so comfortable like with you. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you for taking the time to do this interview so far.
No,
It's been a
thank
blast.
to you for your work and taking the time to listen to the band to that deeper way.
Yeah, I'll be listening
Thank
to
you
the
very much.
album again tonight. So,
Ah, great, great. Thank you
all
very
right.
much.
All
Well,
right. Well, we'll
see
talk
you.
soon.
Good luck. Have a fine day.
All right. Bye.
See you.